Going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 4 here on Inspired Stories for the month of June. This month I'm back to highlighting a producer. He's actually an artist and a producer. Timbaland, obviously, we all know Timbaland. If you don't, Missy Elliott, Justin Timberlake, could go on and on. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel about everyone he's worked with and everything, but those are probably two of the biggest people that he helped get their careers going. Obviously, he's gone on to be an entrepreneur. He just founded Beat Club recently, which is going to change kind of how producers are able to get placements, sell their music, all that good stuff, and I'm fully in support of it. But for me, man, Timbaland was like the first actual person that I looked at him and I was like, I understand, what a producer is because of Timbaland. Like, he really put himself out there, and his branding and his sound was so unique that it just stood out, amongst the crowd. Obviously, Kanye's another person when I came up that was huge on that, but I knew Kanye as an artist before I even knew about him as a producer. But Timbaland, it was like, even with his albums, I remember when Shock Value came out and he was on there rapping and doing certain parts on the songs, but you knew that it was produced by Timbaland. The sound was just so unique. So that was probably my introduction to producing in general before I even knew kind of what it was. So like I said, that was probably 07, 08, around the time where I discovered his music and everything. And even Shock Value 2 came out a couple years later, and that had some great records on it, with Drake, with Timberlake, with a bunch of other people. So yeah, I was just a huge fan of his. Everything I used to hear on the radio, he was another person that got so much radio play back then. He was just killing it everywhere. I did not get to come up on kind of his main starting point, which is the early 2000s, the stuff with Missy. I was kind of too young to remember that, but I jumped in around the time when he was branding himself more as an artist, when he was already fully pretty much developed, as who he was. But another interesting thing about Timbaland as it relates to my story is around 5 years ago, I was able to get his book, which I actually have right here. I'll show it to you. It's called Emperor of Sound. Check that book out right there. Great book, honestly. This book, I bought it just from the local bookstore. I'm going to leave a link in the video so you guys can check it out. Buy it if you want. Probably an Amazon link or something. Autobiography, I think he had, Veronica Chambers helped him write it. But this book is very, very good. Anyone that is into music production or even music in general, read this thing. Because I remember reading it when I was kind of on the fence about doing music, and I was pretty indecisive. I still had a lot of self-doubt. But just reading it from someone that has accomplished so much and hearing him go all the way back to being in Virginia and just having nothing, starting from nothing and going through a lot of hardships. And even when he got his foot in the door in the industry, it was still very hard for him to break through. He was working under a lot of people. There was a lot of shady stuff going on around him, and really the story is just very inspiring, and I'd say it's a pretty lengthy book. They might have it on ebooks or something. You might be able to read or hear it, the Audible stuff as well. So I'll scout out that, but either way, I recommend this. I don't even read a lot of books, but definitely the best book I've read so far. I actually recommended it to the producer OK Coop, who was on this podcast. When was that? Middle of March, because we were talking about Timbaland in the episode and how, he was a big inspiration to him. And I said, you got to read Emperor of Sound because it's everything you didn't know about Timbaland. But it makes his, come up to me and what he's done nowadays so much more impressive. Yeah, but you know, Timbaland, he doesn't really do a whole lot as far as like placements go nowadays. Like he'll pop up every now and again, but he's more so now just pushing the boundaries. And again, that's what separates him from a lot of other people, is he knows that, you know, he's solidified in music. Like that's done. Like he can do that. He could stop that today if he wanted, and it wouldn't matter. Now he's trying to do more for the community. And you know, those are the type of people that to me have always stood out amongst the crowd, as the people that push the boundaries of the industry and always try and innovate. So shout out to Timbaland. Obviously, you know, I'm not going to go into, like I said, his whole history. If you're not familiar, just look him up. You'll find fucking a ton of shit about him. Songs he's produced, songs he's self-released, whatever. But yeah, that was episode 4 of Inspired Stories. Like I said, I'll leave the link to Emperor of Sound in the bio of the video. And until next time, we'll be back with an artist for July. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching, guys.